What is happening with the crypto markets? I know there's a lot of confusion going around, but let us investigate to see what's really going on, okay? Because it seems to me like they're still bullish. No matter even if there is a recession, they're still going to be bullish, guys, because it seems like they buy the dips along the way, okay? Justin, Trump media officially signs a $2.32 billion deal to buy Bitcoin and hold it as a treasury asset. Isn't that fascinating? That they're not giving up on Bitcoin, right? There's still, to me, seems like a lot of interest because the company behind the United States President's Truth brand announced that the deal has closed the private offering with 50 institutional investors, right? So this is major news, guys. It seems like everyone still wants in, right? I guess at the end, there's a reason why Bitcoin is called the fool's gold, right? Because at the end, it will make us look like a fool. Now, so Trump media is focused on acquiring great assets, and this deal will give us the financial freedom to implement the rest of our strategies. Oh wow, so they called Bitcoin a great asset. Okay, so that's massive. It means the company will have more than $3 billion in liquid assets, and our shareholders will have exposure to Bitcoin, right? So that's massive, guys. That's massive in that way, even though we did dump after that news came about. But the thing is, can the tides reverse, right? Possibly, because, so let's talk about the technical side of Bitcoin, guys, right? The technical analysis side. Now, do not panic. This dip that just happened follows global liquidity perfectly. Okay, so this is Bitcoin, guys. So remember, whatever Bitcoin does, alt will be hit harder, and or if it dumps, alt will be hit harder, and if it pumps, alt will gain more strength, right? Now, we basically see global liquidity, the green line, okay, the green line, and then orange, which is Bitcoin, and it's been tightly correlated to each other, guys, right? And right here, where we're at the present moment, it did show a dip, right, to commence, and we are in this time period. Right after it, right, in the coming weeks to months, June, July, and August will be explosive, because then Bitcoin, if it does still follow global liquidity, which I'm not sure, because I'm going to be talking about my technical, my analysis here in just a bit, we should hit 136K in the following weeks to months. Months. Not weeks, but months. Okay. So that's massive, right? By the way, the reason why altcoins haven't exploded, right? I remember this clearly as well. I think it was with XRP. Bitcoin breached its all-time high, and I think it had a small pullback, right? This was back, when was it? 20K, I think, Bitcoin. I think it was 20K. Yes. Then, when it actually started to break, bullish, right, and people were convinced, oh, okay, Bitcoin's going for it. Bitcoin's going for moon. That's when alts exploded, right? It was after Bitcoin breached its previous all-time high with a lot of strength, right, and conviction. That's when alts finally exploded. So maybe that's what people are waiting for, right? So all the downside liquidity has been grabbed, folks. Not really. I mean, there's so much downside liquidity from all the way down there as well, but majority, yes, right? A lot of people longing were taken out, guys. Okay, right here, all throughout here. But whenever an asset goes down, usually what does it do? Especially with Bitcoin, because markets are ran by liquidity, right? And exchanges hunting for liquidity positions, which means the opposite will have to come into play, and then they're going to grab all this liquidity at some point, right? So we already went down. The pain has already been induced, guys, which means now we're looking for gain, right? Now we're looking for pleasure. up we go for that upside liquidity. At some point it will happen. Now the reason we did dump as well is because the White House says tariffs on steel will rise from 25% to 50% beginning next week. You guys see? So are the markets? My question is this, okay? This is why I find Trump strange. I'm asking myself. So there are trade deals and trade wars happening as we speak. If this is happening, will the markets really go and expand truly? Right? Will we see a massive explosion coming? If there are still trade wars happening, you guys see what I'm talking about? We basically need this to fully vanish from our lives, guys, right? We need literally trade deal after friendliness from every country, right, for the markets to really explode, in my humble opinion. Now, I'm asking myself, wait, why is Trump really doing this, right? For the betterment of America? Yes, but at the same time, I believe there's a deeper plan to all of this. I think Trump is truly waiting for a black swan event, right? Because why is it always trade deals and then trade wars happening, right? Next week, tariffs on steel will be raised from 25% to 50% to further protect the nascent steel industry from foreign influence and unfair competition. And they say America is first. Okay, then President Trump says China has totally violated its agreement with us, right? So 2 weeks ago, China was in grave economic danger. This comes from Trump himself. This is what I plan. No, not I plan, but like this is what I feel. Donald Trump is planning something sinister, right? Behind the scenes, yes, maybe not today, tomorrow, but I feel like, you know, I do believe it's for America, but he should have waited. He should have waited, in my opinion, for the markets to top out first, right? Then it would have marked the top of the market, and then all the trade wars and deals would have come during the bear market, right? That would have been the best path, in my opinion, for everyone to be happy, right? And then everyone would have sold at the top, which obviously retail wouldn't, because, you know, of euphoria. Then the bear market strikes, but he's doing it in a way that we pumped, right? Trade wars, trade tariffs were announced, and then we're like making trade deals, right? Then like trade wars, right? Is it just gonna go like this or something until it's fully done? So then he says, the very high tariffs I said made it virtually impossible for China to trade into the nascent marketplace, which is by far #1 in the world. We went in effect cold turkey with China, and it was devastating for them. Many factories closed, and there was, to put it mildly, civil unrest. Really now, right? I haven't seen videos from there. That's crazy though. I saw what was happening and didn't like it. For them, not for us. I made a fast deal with China in order to save them from what I thought was going to be a very bad situation. Wow, so Trump is trying to play the good guy here, which is beautiful. And I didn't want to see that happen. Because of this deal, everything quickly stabilized and China got back to business as usual, right? So now they got the green light. Everybody was happy. This is good news, right? The markets were too. But the bad news is that China, perhaps not surprisingly to some, has totally violated its agreement with us. So much for being Mr. Nice Guy. So what's a violation, right? I don't know, but it seems to me Donald Trump is angry, right? That's the tone he's giving out, guys, with this message. This came out yesterday, which tells me maybe we shouldn't long the market, okay? Until when the bottom strikes, he's gonna be like, "Oh, good news, guys. We China and us just made a deal, right? And it's gonna mark the bottom probably in like a month or two." So that's like, come on. I mean, okay, yeah. The manipulation is totally off the charts, but maybe perhaps it's not, right? Because that's with external news and external factors. What about internally, right? When we look to the charts, it's saying no, it's going according to plan. But they timed that news when this was supposed to happen. If you look at the charts, which is odd, from Ash Crypto. Listen, this is how you know the charts are in control, right? And yes, there are sometimes black swan events, but usually the charts foretell those such events. Bitcoin always dumps after the golden cross. So we know a golden cross appeared with Bitcoin, okay? It appeared right here, where the I can't even tell because it's blocked, but where the 50 SMA went above the 200 SMA, okay? So the white line went above this this other line, colored line, and that's a golden cross. Now the same thing appeared a couple days ago, or like a few weeks ago, right? The white line went above the yellow line, a golden cross struck. Okay, the last time it did, look what happened to Bitcoin. It pumped 62%. It just happened a few weeks ago. If the same thing repeats, another, let's just say even 30% move happens, right? Like half that, which is explosive, right? For Bitcoin, I'm talking about, and alts will obviously multiply that by 5 to 10, if not more, right? Depending on what happens with alt season. Now, but the interesting part about all this, let me move everything, okay, is that when the golden cross appeared, there's always, it tricks people, right? Because people become bullish when they see this indicator flash or confirmed. They dump prices, right? Or the bots dump dump the price minus 10%, and then they reverse it out. So people are like, oh, the golden cross doesn't matter anymore, but then it actually does, because it didn't cross to bearish, right? It didn't create a death cross. Over here as well, it went minus 8%, right? Maybe another 2% is remaining, I'm not sure, but it's tricking people who seen this indicator flash and confirmed that, hey, maybe we're not gonna pump, and it may reverse prices higher. Okay, do we see what's happening here? That's a crazy thing, isn't it, guys, right? But let me talk about my what I think is happening to Bitcoin. So let's go, wait, where? Okay, here it is. So we know that Bitcoin was consolidating in this region, right? Then it pumped, okay? Then it held resistance at the top region, top line. After that point, we came back down to test it as support, right? We had a bounce, came back down to test it as support. It was getting shaky here. This needed to go up here. It did not. Instead, it went up here, okay, a little bit. It pumped a bit, and then it died. Now, there is strong support at around 103K, okay, 102K and change. Okay, around this region, there's going to be strong supports in my opinion. So just watch for this region, guys. And if we go below 103K, 102K and change, by the way, the next support will come around in at strong support, very strong support at 94K, 95K, 96K. Okay, this region right here. But I do have alerts set for that, so let me just move it a bit up. Oh, I don't know what happened, but yeah. So right now, oh, look at that, it is holding as resistance. So basically, we need to go above 104K, okay, but we need to hold 102K, $102,500, guys. Okay, that's my technical analysis side of things. But I remember telling you guys. Where were we? I remember telling you guys we're right here during this consolidation. When we do pump, we should not come below back to the previous structure, and we did. That's I think like a foreshadowing of bad times and coming for Bitcoin, right? Which trickles down to every other coin. So we'll see, guys. We'll see what happens. But in my opinion, just watch for Trump. Just watch for everything, because right now we're at a confusing point in time. But I'm starting to become neutral again because of the charts. I'm going to be talking about XRP and what I think will happen to XRP in the next video. But for now, Bitcoin is looking a little bit weird, unless it gets pulled up by global liquidity and we fly. If you're just holding, it doesn't matter, because you're just going to hold till the end. Now, financial advice. What is so for see ya.